right, so we're doing a little video here on some war attacks. I'm Viz, and this is Visions of War, by the way. I've got with me my friend Vandy, that you can see up above me. This is Vanderpants. We also have in voice Skilly. I don't know why he joined, but he did. He's actually very good with war, so we appreciate having him in our alliance as well. And he's a good guy, and he streams. There's more people watching his stream right now than there are watching mine, so that's evidence that he actually streams. So, so we're going to be showing some teams. First, we're going to show you some teams that, unfortunately, because of the way that Scopely does their things, I cannot test some of these because during practice, because I'm not an envoy, and during practice, we can't test war buffs. So with those, we have here in front of you the new warriors, which with Chavez and Firestar, you're going to need Underworld to beat this team, or Gamma. And we would say that probably Underworld would be your best bet for doing this, even though that it does have summons. But the summons are lackluster, I guess, at best. Like, you just got to know when to spawn them and when not to spawn them. We also have BTS with Spider Society. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but with the counter that we say later on, it's going to be easily doable. We also have Hero Asgard with Dorm. And we use Undying to counter this, and it's pretty efficient. You could use Nowhere also, but Nowhere takes away from a counter that we're going to explore later on. So, with that, anything else to add on that, Vandy or Skilly?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's also Hive Mind, because you got Void Knight is going to be getting some buffs as a Cosmic Hero.
Right, the buffs are going to be there, yes. And your Hero Asgard is going to be way bigger when you go into, like, if you see right here, if I click on Skilly's here, it reduces from a 4.3 to a 2.8. So it's really hard to test something like that when it's got that much of a buff. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we're kind of going to avoid these in this video because it really doesn't make a lot of sense. So some of the ones we're going to focus on, first off, is the new one that we're seeing in war a lot, and that is Spider Society. So Spiders is the new hot thing. We're seeing those in defense more now than we have before. It's a very popular team to put on defense because it doesn't really have a lot of war counters on offense. And we're seeing one here that's a 2.1 million. The thing we are probably going to ask you guys to use more than anything is going to be Doc 6. Or no, actually, it's going to be Gamma. Gamma gets a good punch up for the buck, and there's not really a lot of things to use Gamma for later on in war, right? Like, if you have them built huge, you're fine.
Huge.
Yeah, huge. Yeah, without the H. So we're talking like it can take out a sus hive. You can take out a sus offenders with Gamma on a punch across. But those teams are built up so high that you're not going to see them a lot. So if you have yours low like I do, because I love to punch up, then Spider Society is where it's at. So we'll go in and I'll kind of show you this. Vandy, do you have any particular one that you're looking at other than Gamma to use against Spider Society?
Honestly, they're one of the better. Mine though, it's kind of hard to justify using them here, so I usually save it for somebody like yourself, because my Gamma is built up to almost 2.2 million. So I try to hold mine off because at the level we're at in war, we do see a lot of those 2.5 million sus offenders or Super Scroll Hive Minds that are like almost 3 million. So I kind of like to hold on to mine because you play around with their positioning and ISOs a little bit, and it can actually go toe to toe with some of those Super Scroll teams.
Right.
So I kind of need to do that to try to help the Alliance out because I leave my Black Knight on defense.
All right, and how about you, Skilly? Anything that you think that you use against Spider Society that works on like a punch across that you don't use on other teams?
I don't think I've fought them yet,
Okay.
but is this the one that I used Pegasus against that I said in team chat?
Yeah, I used Pegasus, but they did not have Penny Parker.
Yeah.
Because they had Cordum, unlike the guy that we have here in our alliance that is kind enough to do these teams and build them nice and strong so we can do these nice little tests with. And that's Dead Eyes. We appreciate you. We love you. So Pegasus works at a punch across, especially a punch up for some size if you're not seeing Penny. But if you're seeing the full team, you want to punch up big. Gamma's kind of the way to go. And let's get into it and show you how to do it. So here we're going to start off just kind of rewinding. We're going to try to rewind Noir, right? We want to get him to slow down because he does some stupid stuff. Especially now with his revamped kit and the way he does things. But you see, even with the rewind, he still goes because he's got those buffs and he gets that speed up. And it's kind of nasty. So we're going to want to stun. I like to stun Peter Parker basically because I don't want to see that baby swinging around in battle. But also because it's an efficient thing to do because when he's stunned, he's not doing the heals and the other stuff that makes that team good. And I'm going to leave Ghost Spider completely out of it because she's over there on an island. And I really wanted to come back at her later. So I'm going to focus on the Spider Bot. And I'm going to focus on Peter B. Parker and Noir. So I'm going to steal all these buffs that I can from this middle group here. My Hulk's getting pretty low. I'm going to rewind Peter B. Parker so that he doesn't even take a churn. Here goes Noir doing dirty things to my Gamma and his big old kit that he has now. We're going to go ahead and ult with Rolk. Getting those traumas out, which are so important against these teams with as much as they remove the buffs. And they really do a good job of doing that. Kind of like Out of Time does, or like some other good defensive teams. New Avengers removes bleeds, stuff like that. So we've already got the revive gone from Noir, so we don't need to worry about that. So I see Pavatar or Pav, whatever you want to call them. So I'm going to rewind this group over here so that way I'm not getting even a churn from them. And then I'm going to go back over here to Parker and try to get him down in health so when he takes a churn, he just dies. And just kind of let Noir do his thing because, he's going to anyways. So now you see we have Ghost Spider on an island, right? We have 3 cloaked people. Ghost Spider, perfect time to go at Ghost Spider now. Stun her, let those guys die, kill off Ghost Spider so we have a 5 versus 1 match. And it's just Noir sitting there. And if you can't beat this, then you should probably upgrade your teams because this is a pretty easy fight. Okay? So that's the first one we're talking about. That's Gamma versus Spider Society. It's when we do our war defense chart for people to use, we have a nice little blue block around it saying this is the key that you're going to want to see. And we're seeing it a lot on defense, right? I think every room saw one last.
Well, yeah, and that seems to be the go-to for the community. I can't blame everybody for doing it. It's a raid team, so you're going to build it up no matter what. It doesn't do a lot up for you on offense, so might as well throw it on D. You had to put the resources into it.
And speaking of putting resources into a team, our next team is something that's also a raid team that we're seeing on defense a lot. We're seeing it mixed in with different rogue, with Phoenix and Magic, stuff like that. And that's going to be your Extreme X-Men. Again, D3, thank you so much for leveling these guys up. We got a 2.5 million here. It's really not going to be as much of a challenge as I wanted it to be with my Doc 6. But Doc 6 is what you're going to want to use against this team. It's super efficient the way that it gets it done. And it really makes it so that you can punch up pretty much as high as you want to punch up against this team. If you're not seeing gammas in war, if you're not one of those beginner alliances that are seeing gammas on defense all the time, this is the team to use against x-treme. If you're not seeing giant infestations, like some people are seeing like 3-4 million, this is the team that you're going to see. You just kind of got to play it by where you are, but this is where we are right now. So we'll load into this, and I'll show you how to do this one too.
I do want to mention, as an honorable mention for the last team, the Spider Society.
Yeah.
Most of us have them on defense, but the best counter I found as far as massive 200% punch-ups for Secret Defenders and New Avengers. However, if you don't have either one of those, if not both on defense, you're kind of doing something wrong in the first place, because they're stupid hard to beat when they're on defense.
So with Doc 6 here, we're going to aim basically adjacently at Forge is what you're trying to do. And whoever beside him. Get the most out of your adjacent attacks with Vulture. We're going to go for Cyclops here because Forge is on one side, Gambit's on the other. Now I have Raider on my Green Goblin, so I'm going to put a vulnerable down. So I'm going to go ahead and aim that at Nightcrawler because he does not have a vulnerable yet. And we're just going to go across putting trauma on everybody. Okay? So now what we're basically doing, because we don't have Rogue, if you had Rogue, you really want to pay attention to who you're bringing at what power level down. Because if you're bringing people down below 50, Rogue's going to taunt. But if you have no Rogue, balls out, whatever you want to do. I'm going to put the taunt here on Forge. You only want to use the special if you have Rogue, because you don't want to bring him down, then remove the taunt, then Rogue be taunting. And I'll show you why later. But I can go ahead and taunt Forge because there's no Rogue. I could do whatever I want because Forge is who I'm coming back to, because there's no reason not to just go at him full bore. If I have a Rogue here, what I'm going to do with all those other Mysterio bots is I'm going to take away the heals that are on the other people that they're not here, but Rogue gives. So I'm going to take away those regenerations that are on them so they don't have them any longer. But once I get to Mysterio, I'm going to ability block Forge so that he can't do his stupid things that he does, even though he's almost dead with this. You can go as high as you want with Doc 6 against these guys. The pings from Gambit. So if you have a team that's like a 2 million or a 1 million x-treme, and you have like an 8, 9, 1 million Gambit, this might go a little differently. So you might want to watch for that because those pings are going to do some damage. But we're going to get to Vulture here. We're going to AoE. Forge is going to go away. We're going to be left with the 4. And out of those 4, you want to pick Nightcrawler. He is the biggest one. When you leave him by himself at the end, oh my God, is he a terror. He is a terror.
He takes so many turns.
So many turns, and he heals up, and he does his thing. With this, I'm looking at speed bar. I don't have anybody to worry about. Okay, so I don't need to worry about rewinding anybody, so I'm going to basic. Otherwise, rewind somebody who has the highest speed bar, right? And as you can see, I'm kind of like playing through this kind of a slow, so it goes a little faster. But I'm going to ult there with Doc Ock, of course, to increase it on everybody. I'm going to see who I want to pick on. He has evade, so I'm going to go for Gambit, right? Kill Gambit, because for every debuffs that's on that player, he's doing extra damage for Vulture's basic. So why not, you know? And then you got this pesky little Nightcrawler sitting here at the end, doing stupid things, healing up all the time. If you don't have heal block, get him out of there as soon as you can, okay?
He's broken too.
He is so broken. And him at the end, sometimes he'll heal, he'll speed up, he'll evade. He'll heal, he'll speed up, he'll evade. He'll heal, he'll speed up, evade. He keeps on doing that. It's so annoying. So trying to get as many debuffs on him as possible before so you can take him out is very important.
And mine plays out a little differently because I do have different ISOs. Ultimately, It still goes the same. It's a little bit more effective, I think. I don't have to worry about stripping the taunt with Rhino because I have him as a striker.
Striker.
So he's just doing extra damage instead of stripping.
So either
that.
Striker or Fortifier on your Rhino, depending on how big they are. That's kind of like where you go with that.
And then I have Striker on Vulture.
Oh.
My Doc Ock
That's
is
fun.
a skirmisher,
Yep.
and because I've got him to 6 red now, my Green Goblin Classic is a raider, and I have 0 problems landing anything.
Nice. Those traumas are important. I always am worried because you know how I am. I like punching up as high as I can.
Yeah,
So
I get it.
I got skirmisher just because of that. Because the bigger they are, the more
Yeah, I
focus
get
you're
it.
going to need.
The big change for me, Vulture, that was for Dark Dimension 6. He was doing some serious work as a striker, so I just
Yeah.
left him because I liked it. And then Cosmic Crucible, I'm facing people with 4 million defenses, just like we do in War.
Yeah.
With those specific ISOs, I'm not struggling against Extreme. Doesn't
Nice.
matter if they put Rogue in there. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who the hell they put in there. If it's Extreme, doesn't matter what room. My Doc 6 handles it.
That's kind of cool, man. And so, hey, so those of you that are watching this on YouTube, it is so important to talk to your alliance members, to talk to those in your family of alliances, to get different input from people. If you use that stupid Jarvis or the MSF bot or the GAM bot or whatever to get all your information, you're going to get cookie cutter results at the majority of the population. And you got to understand, there's only a small percentage of us that actually watch Twitch, go in and practice, do stuff that are on YouTube videos. The good majority of the population that you're getting those MSF things on the tools that are going to that are people that just like, hey, this looks like a cool ISO to use for this character. Slap it on there. 90%. You know what I mean? Like when it's that high, you got something to worry about because there are a lot of us that do different ISOs on every character just to see how they work. So if you got MSF bot or GAM bot saying 96% efficiency with this ISO, it's probably something to look into because they're probably not right. Because it's looking at the good majority of the people that are putting it on there. But those of us that tinker around, like he said, Striker for Vulture, I don't do that. Sounds amazing. I'm going to try it because that looks fun. Because Vulture does so much damage.
And I stumbled into that because of Dark Dimension 6.
Yeah.
And I was using him with Craven and Robbie.
Right?
Who else did I have?
So
I think I had
Craven's a
Lizard.
raider, Robbie's a raider.
Yep, and I'm throwing out all of those debuffs and bleeds. And then Vulture gets to go, and I'm like, I don't need to rewind anybody here. The entire field is covered with 15 plus debuffs. Why don't I use a
Let's
basic?
do
It's
some
like
damage.
3.2 million on the freaking
On a
the
basic.
striker on the ISO back follow up.
Oh my gosh.
He's doing 3 mil, and it was like 1.8 on the basic itself. And you're dropping tunes, and it's like holy crap.
That's amazing.
So I left it, and I've had better success in Cosmic Crucible because I suck at it, but I do try, and I come up against some like 80 mil TCP accounts, and it gets a little rough.
80 mil is crazy.
Yeah, so I swapped around some of those ISOs on the Sinister Six members, and it's been doing great.
Oh yeah. I mean, it sounds good to me. Striker on Vulture. I use Raider because of the AoE, but like you said, if you're already putting that many vulnerables out, you don't need it. So why not put it where you need it? And using Striker on
that's what was
Vulture sounds like a lot of fun. Like it really does.
I mean,
I'm
it
gonna
is,
try it out.
especially if you've already got your Green Goblin built up. As a Raider, at least Blue ISO 4 because of that extra 30% boost to his focused.
Yeah.
It's working. So he's getting those crits, landing the debuffs you need him to land, and just throwing out stacks of them.
Well, also, how many
play
stars
around with it.
do you have your Green Goblin Classic at?
He is 7 yellow, 6 red.
So, if you're looking at being a 5 yellow, 4 red Green Goblin Classic,
when mine was
Skirmisher.
5/5, yeah, skirmisher all the way.
Yeah. As you get higher than that, feel free to experiment with Raider. Find out when those things stick. And if they're sticking, stick to it because that's where you want it to be, is in that sweet spot where it's working for you and it's doing what it's supposed to do. So, absolutely. And that's why ISOs change. That is why ISOs change. And like I said with Rhino, Striker or Raider. If you have a low-powered Raider, Rhino, you need him to survive, then yeah, put Fortifier on him because he's going to get that buff right off the top with the barrier. He's going to, live a little bit longer. We got Dugan in chat right now putting Striker on Vulture in our alliance. That's great. But yeah, Rhino is gonna, he's gonna survive a little longer. He's gonna give you what you need, keeping those chargers off of the bio people, and making it so your team lasts longer. But since you got it built up, yeah, switch it to Striker so you get that double tap, you get that huge damage boost from him. If he gets blind, he speeds up, and you're doing more damage with him. It's a beautiful thing to do, and it's a way to use your account to the best of your ability. So, speaking of best of the ability, I was one of those people that did not build up War Dogs very much. I was not a fan of Waka Waka. The number one raid team, the number one Crucible team, the number one war team. I didn't build them up very much. But
how much Skilly loves them.
Yeah, but we found a team to use them with, right? And the team to use them with is going to be this team here, and it's an Infinity Watch. And so if you're going into War Dogs are a very efficient team. They can take out the likes of Hive Mind. They can take out even like Heroes for Hire that you've seen probably in one of those major streamers' channels that he likes to do and show off, even though he's lost probably as many times as he's won on stream. They can also take out some of the other, meta teams that they put up there. Especially if they put like meta offense teams on defense, they have no problem with them. Weapon X they can take out, P-Force they can take out, stuff like that. When they put them on defense, use War Dogs to get rid of them. And War Dogs are a great cleanup team as well because of how fast they are. And if you have a low infestation with like Big Time Spider-Man being like low, they outspeed them and they can take them out as well. But if teams are actually built, it's a 2.6 in War, okay? But again, because we don't have the live test server to be able to do this on, it's a 1.6 that we're seeing. And so we're going to go, and we're going to find War Dogs.
I do want to, for anybody that watches this, huge disclaimer. I love my War Dogs, swear by them.
Yes,
However,
he does.
they are very T4 expensive. To get them to do what Visara is about to show, they do require at least 2 T4s per character minimum.
And Skilly, how did that work out for you the last time when you went into war with them?
Well, they suck.
So, also, what are our key T4s, Vandy? Go through the key T4s.
Oh man, I gotta pull that page up. So I know for a fact you need Okoye's ultimate.
Yes. And that removes revive and also reduces speed bar.
Yeah, the speed bar reduction is big. It's like 60 or 70%.
Crazy.
Getting flashbang with my browser here. I did a full breakdown before, but God, that was
it's okay.
ago.
Wife can cut all this so that it makes sense.
Yeah, so let me pull these teams up. So
You're good.
War Dogs, because I gotta read them.
I know. Pull it up for Daddy.
Nakia, you want her passive? You need those pings.
Nakia passive is a good one. Yes, you need the pings, and they do a lot of damage.
Yeah, because that adds 350% piercing, which ignores block, ignores armor. That's a big deal. And I believe it's her special. Yes, her special. She generates one ability energy for all adjacent War Dog allies, and this is why I'm actually going to suggest you swap the Black Panther's positions.
Okay.
So Black Panther OG can ult turn 1 and give 20% speed bar to their whole team.
So, hey, I'm doing it too. This is all about learning, right?
Let me see here. Okay, so Nakia's basic. It adds some extra chains. You don't really need it.
Right.
I'd say it's a good one to have, but it's not required. And the ultimate just adds damage. That's 100% luxury.
Yep.
So let's go back.
It's Okoye is what we're focusing on now.
Yeah, Okoye's. Okay.
This is the big one.
Okoye is the big one.
Yep.
So absolutely 100% have to have the ultimate. What that does is in Crucible or War Offense, removes revive once from the primary target. This
Right.
clear cannot be resisted. So it doesn't matter what their resistance is. It cannot be resisted. And that is huge on teams like this or teams that have Dormammu, where you need to clear that on somebody important.
Correct.
Special just adds the extra damage. That's a luxury.
Right.
Do not need that. However, it's important in this fight specifically you use that first because
Right.
everybody with immunity, which they all conveniently spawn with, is rewound. Basic is just extra attack. Don't need that. Okay. This is also huge for this fight specifically. Okoye's passive. The T4 in Crucible and War Offense only, while she is charged and has the full team with her, lowers the drain by 50% for the opponents.
So that's so they're not healing as you're doing damage.
Correct.
Because
and
they will counter back because of
Yep.
when they go first. Nebula, well, if they get a churn, Nebula is going to go and she's going to put counter attack on all of them. So when they attack back, they're going to heal if you don't have that, and so you need that T4 in order to make it so they don't heal. That is if they get a churn.
All right, and then now let's go to OG Black Panther. Gotta have his T4 passive.
Yeah, for
That's
the
the
speed.
most important for him. For the drain,
Well, yeah,
he gives the team drain in
because he's
Crucible
going to
War
heal them.
Offense.
Yeah,
So they're all healing themselves as they hit, and they're fast as shit.
they are.
And then,
That's why I said if the other team gets a churn.
yeah, the T4 in his ultimate, as long as he has 4 charges, which in War, because you've got him next to Nakia now, his first turn, he's going to have those. Because the charges that come from, well, he gets the ability energy from her. Black Panther 1 million doesn't need to be adjacent. When he does his ult just before, he's throwing 4 charges out for everybody else.
Right.
So now, when he does his ultimate, he's filling speed bar by 30% for the entire team. And
So they
then
go
he can-
faster.
and then he immediately goes again, so you throw the special out there, which
Gives them offense
this is it also applies 2 counters to the entire team if you
Yeah.
have the T4.
Yeah. Which, if the other team doesn't get a turn, doesn't matter. But that offense
Right.
up is huge because it makes it so
But-
they don't get another turn.
So the basic is also kind of a luxury. It just helps because all it does is it changes it a little bit more damage, and then it's no longer a chance to apply blow and bleed. It's a guarantee.
Yeah.
But that can always be resisted. So that's why I call that really more of a luxury. So him, you're looking at passive and ult. Let's go BP 1 million.
So the ult is we're going to focus with BP 1 million. It's
Yep.
going to strip. Well, it's not going to strip because they have safeguard, but it's going to give you safeguard.
Yes, if you have his T4.
Correct.
So the T4 in his ultimate and passive are absolute. Well, the passive maybe not so much. The ultimate
Passive's
is definitely
good. It's one of those
Passive,
like
it helps give more speed bars. So as these
Right.
characters that you're slamming into start dropping into yellow on their health bars, he's giving
He's
5%
gonna go
speed
faster.
bar. If
Yeah.
you give him that T4 passive, now he's giving everybody on the team 10% speed bar.
yeah.
And in a game mode where speed is king, that's kind of a big deal. T4 on the ultimate copies and clears 5 positive effects instead of it's like 1. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
that's a absolute
It's
have
huge.
to have.
And it gives
then
that safeguard
spreads,
too.
and then spreads every positive effect that he has to the whole team. So if you target, say, a Dormammu or an Apocalypse first with a safeguard, easy peasy.
Yeah.
Nope, special doesn't really matter. Basic doesn't really matter.
So we're good. So we got
Yep.
Black Panther. You're definitely going to want his passive, and you're going to want his
Ultimate.
ultimate. Nakia, you're going to want her passive, and you're going to want her special, and possibly her ultimate as well. Okoye, you're going to want her ult. You're going to want her passive. Shuri, really, Shuri's are just a luxury, but if you have had her for a long time, you're going to have most of them upgraded as already. But the passive and the special are really the ones you're going to look into to give those charges and stuff. And then BP 1 million, we're looking at passive, and probably ultimate is the two for key for him. So let's get into this fight. Let's show how quickly it wins. All this time talking about it, it's going to take a fraction of the time for this to be over.
Yeah, once you have their ability set, it's silly because if the punch up isn't big enough, Infinity Watch literally just stands there and dies.
Yeah, standing around a lot of time.
Unless skill he's using.
Yeah, then they actually do attacks. So the big one with this is we're just basically hitting Phyla until we get to that Okoye special. The Okoye special is where things are going to go sideways. I'm looking for the one with the most buffs here. I know it's kind of weird, but that's kind of what you're looking for with this. I know I said Phyla, but I want the most bang for my buck. He's going to get 5 different debuffs. Let's go there.
Honestly, I go Moondragon first, so she doesn't rewind anybody if it is a
Right, but she didn't have speed, so that's why I was going there. And so I'm going here with Gamora because I'm going to rewind her. I'm going to take away her revive.
No, I'm going to special first.
That's
special
right.
First.
And why special first?
Because all of them have immunity right now, so you're going to rewind everybody instead of one.
So you guys see that? So you understand? Like when you read these kits and you look at this, right? It says remove revive. And you're like, oh, I need to do that now with Gamora. No. Trixie. They all got that little X on them. So let's do this instead, right? Now let's go over here just so she gets got. Because she's already a low health. Let's go ahead and get her got. And so now we've got the Black Panther ult. He's got a shit ton of charges. Let's go at Phyla because that's who we need to take down. He's going to hit everybody. But we're going to sit here and target her down. And I like the basic here, but you can just do like adjacent attacks because she's going to die anyways.
Honestly,
you saw her death proofs die.
I
Go ahead.
would recommend doing the special to get more charges out there on BP.
You think so?
He does a lot more speed bar manipulation
let's watch
when he
Vandy's
has
way.
charges.
This guy does this attack like every freaking war.
So still go into Phyla.
Still going to Phyla with this attack here?
With the ultimate, yep.
Okay,
and she's going to bounce back and forth between those three. Or Phyla Bell's just going to die. Go to Moondragon. You want to get Moondragon out of there ASAP.
And Moondragon you want to release so she doesn't take your shit away, right?
So here, it's give or take. If the Gamora is massive, use the ultimate on her.
And they're about equal.
If they're an evenly built team, Adam Warlock so they no longer get safeguard.
There you go. Take away revive, gonna do big damage to him. Rewind his turn meter.
And now she's really close. Use that special on Nebula to get rid of her first revive there.
And remember, it gives offense up to everybody as well.
And you're gonna get another turn. Now you can go back to Adam Warlock, see if you can possibly take him out.
And this is about speeding up.
There. Yep.
Speeding up. Right? We're going to hit him 3 times.
Boom. So now you can go back to Moondragon because she's also low. There's a chance.
And you got these 3 defense ups. But we should be able to get through them pretty quickly here, right?
Yeah,
okay.
The rest of this is pretty much easy. So here I would actually use the basic because then you're going to get the assist. Or not even.
They got 1 turn. They got 2 turns. That's here's your third. Yeah. No, this is their second turn right here from Gamora. That's all I got.
Here, in all honesty, from here you can just put it on Nebula and put auto.
So we're gonna take her down a little bit. We're gonna do an attack. It's gonna get a triple tap. Well, never mind. He didn't get a triple tap because she didn't survive through 1 million. We're gonna go into this. We're gonna double tap here. There's your triple. We're gonna basic again because we don't need the other. Oh, Gamora got another turn. Dang you, Gamora. Go ahead and waste her. And then we get that funny little space thing where they're up in the sky, right? So you can't even see they're there. They're so embarrassed about their performance that they're hiding. So let's just go ahead and kill them, right? Let's get them out of here.
Yeah,
the
Gamora respawn invisible.
That's an easy way to take out Infinity Watch. Really. I mean, really easy. And the main points in that, honestly, are starting at one side with the special from Okoye to remove all the churn meter, and using the layout the way we had, so that way you're ulting with Black Panther first turn. Those are the big parts of that match. Otherwise, I don't think you're going to mess up. I don't think you can mess up, unless you're skilly.
And then with just about every Infinity Watch counter, it's the same rules. Phyla-Velt and Moondragon have to die first. Then you get rid of Nebula and Adam Warlock as you can between the two of them who's weaker. There's no point in going to the Gamora until she's last, because as soon as she hits a certain point, she's just going to go throw taunt on somebody and heal up anyways.
Yeah, that's fair. And that team was brought to us on defense by Vandy, so thank you for upgrading that team for us to be able to try out. As is this next one. So this next one we're seeing, which is another raid team that you're seeing a lot on defense. And defensive raid teams are important because you want to get some use out of teams that you're having to upgrade. And some of these people have upgraded this crazy. So this one that we're seeing here is Pegasus. When it's in war, it's like 2.6 mil. We're seeing ones that are way higher. And the team that we're using to counter this, at least in ours, is Cabal plus Eternals. So this is like almost punching up twice your size. And this is really good. Before we got on the video, they were really trying to throw me off by upgrading their tunes, changing the ISOs to make it more difficult. And if I lose now that we're on video, I'm going to be embarrassed, but sometimes it does happen. It's called streamer bad luck. But we're gonna see how this does. This is a pretty good fight.
It fails for you right now.
Yeah. So as you can see,
maxed out that rescue for you.
So as you can see on this team, I have 4 strikers. I don't recommend using this for Crucible, but for War, with as many vulnerables as they put out, I really love triple taps. And having 4 different strikers is a beautiful thing for me. Iron Patriot, which is Norman Osborn in the Iron Man suit. It's actually a War Machine suit. Is awesome because he puts out a shit ton of vulnerables all over the place. And so I kind of like the ISO setup the way it is. If you find a better way, do you. I'm not going to judge you. This is just how I do it. Do it how I do it. If you want to, if not, totally get it. I understand.
It's important to mention that because a lot of these other content creators will just say, "Oh yeah, War Dogs handles that easily," but no. Only with those abilities leveled up max. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just gonna get killed.
All right, so we're gonna go at rescue, and we're gonna try to get as many crits as possible out of this team to try to drop her below 50%, so we can get her to go into stealth before Namor gets a turn. We'll see if this happens. If not, we might have a little bit of trouble, but we're going to find out. And it didn't happen. So we're going to go over here to Iron Man instead. Mm-hmm. We're going to try to take him out because of the fact that it didn't go. Okay, so now you can see Rescue is out of stealth now, right? Because of that. So we're going to go back at her. And we're going to try to take her out before she gets a chance to do anything, right? So here she goes.
There you go.
All right. So now we're going to go at Kestrel, and we're going to use Iron Man's ult to stun Kestrel instead. Right? So there we go. That it's just about basically, changing the way you do things, because some people like to upgrade ISOs and make it super difficult for you to be able to counter these teams. So you just got to persevere and push forward and rip the team apart like that. So that was the attack with Eternals versus Pegasus, and it's Eternals with Cabal. Okay, so now we're gonna go into a team that is the bane of all existence. in war currently. It is the new hotness that everybody is upgrading to make it so that war absolutely sucks for you and your team. And that team that we're seeing more and more now is this one right here, and that's Out of Time. Out of Time pretty much leaves you that way every battle. You find yourself being out of time to clear the team, and or you find yourself just being destroyed by a giant black knight. So what we like to use for this is we call a Pockware. A Pockware is a punch across. Some people have punched up. My wife was able to punch up today with it a little bit. But punching across to punching down is, I would say, it's sweet spot, right? Like, there's no way around it, right? It's a punching across to punching down, or it's a double tap. And you have to have a pretty evenly built nowhere as well, right? I mean, do you agree?
Yeah, no, they've got to be evenly built. If you try to go into this fight with, you took Nova to the moon and the rest of them kind of sat on the wayside, you're gonna get stomped.
Yeah. And with this one, it's built, I mean, they're pretty good. They're all in the 2s, Nova's at 4, because he has those empowered abilities that really do give him a boost. And so you're going to see that it's like, 50k in war because he's Hero Cosmic and because of the other. So you're going to see a 50k of boost per empowered ability that he has. Right. So, I mean, so you're talking 3 empowered abilities plus war. So that's at least 150. So he's about even with the other people that are here. So, so this is a punch across. This is against a normal Black Knight. If you have, and I've found Raiders, Black Knight, if they're a Raider, it is kind of a pain to play against. Not because I'm telling anybody here in YouTube land to use Raider for their team, because please don't. But Raider I've found is kind of annoying to use this, because if you do have APOC next to Korg like I do, it's going to do some stupid things. So I usually flip Nova to put him next to Korg instead. But this one is a fortifier, so I'm okay. But yeah, any other tips, hints, or tricks before I get into and show the order of things before we go, Skilly or Vandy?
No, I know you're going to touch on it already, so I mean, I was long-winded on War Dog, so I'll let you have it. There's a very specific order of operations to this for it to work.
Absolutely. How about you, Skilly? Anything that you would do differently at ISO, or are you kind of cool with this?
Oh, I hate this matchup. I stick with APOC with Boom, but this would be a first watch for me.
Okay.
But it looks, you should have somebody, though, that puts out maybe some vulnerables, right? Or else strikers are useless.
That's where I'm going with right here.
I have Raider level 4 for the extra focus and damage, because ISO 4 is a 40% bump in stats across the board.
Yeah.
So I have Raider on Thor, though, so you've got somebody throwing them out there.
So I'm switching right now. I'd add him back at Striker. I don't know what for, but something earlier. But yeah, Raider on Thor is definitely a good thing. 4 would be nice. I don't have the ions for that right now, so I'm doing 3s across them. But they're going to ignore most of the stuff that he does with the 4 anyways. But it does do well for more damage. But like I said, they're going to ignore that too because of freaking CGR. Is going to ignore the damage that you do extra as well. But the vulnerables will still be there because they still do crit. They just don't crit for as much. So let's get into the fight. So with this, the first ability you're going to do is you're going to basic with Nova. Okay? Yeah, it sounds stupid. I agree. But guess what you get right off the bat if you basic? You get to ult. So you get 2 for the price of 1, right? Then we're just going to go through doing normal abilities and letting Black Knight expend all of his charges, hitting into my evades, getting rid of my evades, but still actually doing damage, which kind of sucks. Especially since it's unavoidable, it really does do damage to people, but it's not going to kill my people as badly as it would if I took some other team that didn't have that stuff. So here comes the charges again. You kind of hope that your Korg doesn't die there because he will not be revived if he does. So now we're going to special with APOC. Yeah, I know. Sounds dumb because his ult's there and you want him to do things, but with CGR there, he says, you ain't doing no damage to my homies. And so you have to special because they have safeguard and they do have damage reduction. So you're kind of screwed there. And this is the part right here where the Raider on Black Knight really does a big difference because he's going to hit Korg. And with Raider on a Black Knight, I've had him straight up just kill my APOC right there. Okay? It does happen. So now we're going to ult with Thor, do some more damage. We're actually putting debuffs on him now, which is nice, and you like to see that happen. If you're not seeing that, you're probably going to lose the match. Okay? If you are seeing debuffs go, you're like, okay, there's a chance. So now we're going to flip all this stuff. The only safeguard that you see right now is on CGR and on Peggy, right? So we're going to flip these immunities, or these... Oh, look at that. The immunity did not flip to a deflect to a disrupted on Black Knight. So that's fine. So we can kill either Peggy over here or we can kill Cap, right? Those are our two choices. Peggy has defense up. And with Cosmic Ghost Rider still here, it's probably going to not kill her. So I'm going for the sure kill. I'm going for Captain America. Okay? We're going to make sure that happens. We have the taunt there that can be stripped now because we have things to do that. And we're just going to start hitting Peggy as much as we can because Cap Sam's not going to sit there and taunt every other goddamn turn and make so we have to keep on going over there and hitting him. Black Knight doesn't do that. He's like, I did my business. I'm cool. We're going to do with some adjacent attacks. We're going to kill this because she can't bring back him because... the trigger is Cap Sam, and Cap Sam was killed by the... Oh, no, he does come back. Look at that. It skipped him. Anyways, APOC killed... not Cap Sam, Captain America. So Captain America can't come back. But apparently...
APOC's one-hit slap is a permakill.
Permakill. No revive. But apparently she can skip him and go for Starbad instead. And yes, I did say Starbad. That is what I meant. It's not just because of the beer. Because he is bad. Grey Hulk. Yeah, there's a lot of people called that as well. So now we got this taunt again here. Because he had a special. We're going to do some damage to him. But he doesn't have charges. So we're okay. This is such a long match. If you want to hit auto, you're more than welcome to. Just basically when you don't see taunt anymore on Black Knight, you're going to go over here to Peggy. And do stuff to her. Do stuff that Howard Stark would have wanted to do to her that he never got a chance to. So that's what we're doing to her. She's going to block. She's going to do stupid things. Got an ability block. With auto, you're probably going to get through this. This is a long slug fest because of the fact that it's not. But I'm still going with this. I'm healing up my team with the ability block here. Going after Cosmic Ghost Rider next. Because Black Knight is one of those you have to hit auto with, or he's just not going to die. And then we hit auto. And we hope that it gets over in 27 seconds, or else we get a loss in war, and it's not a way to get back at it. Did we get our ult? We did. We got our ult. We went away so much that we got our ult again from Nova, who has the longest cooldown in the game. And we got it ult again. It took that many turns. So, there you go. A Pockware versus Out of Time. Horrendous slug match.
I have been able to punch up 5%. But no more than that. It cannot be in the bridge. It cannot be in the armory or the reactor.
Yeah.
If it's in either of those three rooms, that has to be a punch down, and you've got to get lucky.
Right. I agree. And it's a pain. It's a pain team. It's going to be the bane of our existence for a while.
Otherwise,
because it's how they're making money.
And if you don't have the availability to use that counter, your best bet is to double tap. Do not cancel that first that first attack. Try to waste as many of their abilities as you can.
Yeah.
That way, when you go back in there with a cleanup team, they still hit hard. They still have a lot of armor and defense, so you're gonna have to go in there with something big still. But there's no more retaliations. Once they have one level of exhausted, you really clip the wings off a Black Knight. It's a lot easier to deal with.
Right.
It's honestly, in a lot of ways, the best way to do it. If you're fighting against an alliance that has that team in every single room, that's probably the best way to go.
Yeah, double taps. And so we got some info from our old guy, our grandpa in our alliance, Mr. D3 Deadeyes, that Invaders seems like it's the best team to use to be able to burn the out of time to go in and do a double tap. Because
he was saying they don't do a lot of damage, but they have enough. They have enough sustain to stick around and eat up some abilities.
They just take a bunch of turns. They get all the summons. They're picking off the summons and not picking on your main tunes. And you have them built up already because we had to do incursion raids, so might as well use them for something because they're shit on war defense. So use them as a burn team if you're going to use them for something. So I agree. All right, so last that we're going to go through on how to beat with our war offense versus defense teams that are not the obvious ones. We're going to go into actually one given to us by the wife and in her room, and that's Sable, is Hive Mind. And yes, this is without war buffs. Yes, this is going to look super easy. Yes, it does translate into the actual war because you are getting war buffs as well because you have Hero Cosmic in both Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and Photon. And they are really your mainstays. Whether you put Striker on Photon or Raider, I don't think it really matters. Whether you put Skirmisher or Raider on Jessica Jones, I don't think it really matters. The ones that do actually matter here are the ult for Nico Maru, the special on Spider-Woman, and just having Photon built so that she can do massive damage to these things.
That Captain Marvel special is also...
The speed up from her special is nice.
Well,
absolutely.
Not just that, it strips all buffs.
Right. And it gives you 20% speed, which speed kills, especially against symbiotes because we all know how fast they can get.
Oh,
so getting speed, is an important thing to have against them. So, Skilly, have you tried this fight?
Not yet, actually, no.
Okay, well, you're going to see just how fast this goes. This is only a 400k punch-up. Don't blink. Yeah, don't blink, because you might miss it.
Leave my eyes open.
Yeah. You can do... Vandy, what was the one you just did? 1 point...
No, the punch-up I had was just under 2 million.
Just under 2 million. So pretty easy to do a punch-up.
Sweet.
I love using Underworld, but a lot of people are scared with the summons dropping that they're going to have problems. But the thing is my Kingpin is gear 18 and thick, almost 19. And so my summons ain't dropping. Those suckers are sustaining like crazy.
That's what it was. I have 1.6 versus 3.3. So it's
1.7
mil.
There you go.
1.7 mil punch up.
So let's get into this fight and show you guys how to do it. Pretty simple. All right, so we get into this right off the bat. We're going to want to use a special from JJ. Special is going to give ability energy to our A-Force teams. More importantly, it's getting ability energy to Photon, which then lets her do her ult turn 1. We're going to go ahead and use the ult from Mika Maru on Red Goblin. This is going to give him Disrupted, also Trauma. Also give Trauma to 2 the other with the highest focus. We all know new tunes are the ones with the highest focus, so you can guarantee that freaking Gwynnum and Void Knight are going to get that. Then we're going to go right back into her doing the ult into Red Goblin because we're really trying to get rid of him. And then she's going to We're going to have high Void Knight left there to do an ability block on with trauma so he can't get it removed. She's going to chain. If they have Void Knight at the end, it's pretty much game over at that point in time. But since they don't on this one, we're going to Captain Marvel ult, which does a shit ton of damage into Void Knight, pretty much leaving him by himself because Carnage is kind of just sitting there with just a little bit of life left. The special from Nikamaru does adjacent attacks as well.
Yep.
The basic gets you an assist. So if you just have one person left with a bunch of health, do the basic. But if you have somebody adjacent to him, do the special. That's what I'm doing here. I'm going to do the special. They're both gone. That simple. Did you blink? You did. Sorry, I missed the whole thing.
That's even easier to do than my War Dog version of that counter.
Yeah. So,
Sweet.
So you guys, thank you for watching the video. We appreciate it. This is Vandy. I have Skilly with me, and I'm Visara. This has been fun. Hopefully you learned something. This is going to be in a way that you can hopefully watch it within half an hour to be able to get this. These are some of the key teams we're seeing in War and some of the reasons why sometimes we're losing these. The other one is New Avengers, which is one of those that with every counter we put on a different team, they're losing a counter. We'll try to get to something with that and let you know later on. But for right now, let's try to focus on these, getting these 6 counters on there. If you're seeing non-meta teams that are having some issues, let us know in the comments so we can try to make a video on that. But like I said, for right now, this is what we're looking at. These 6 teams, these are the easy counters to make it so that you can punch up huge in War and make it so that you can earn that thing, right? And you can be that MOP. And yes, I said MOP because that's the algorithm that I've made to make it so that it makes more sense than MVP, because MVP, the calculations on that suck. So anyways, that is us. That is Vandy. That is Skilly. That is myself with Visions of War. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe. Until next time, peace.
Bye.